We jamming. That's your power. Wait. We have appeared to teleported to somewhere. Where are we though? Hey, you there? Me? Yes, you. You have strayed away from the third group. I will have you reprimanded, but since you are in a new country, I fear, well, I can understand. It is a very new country. When I was advising the people in Namibia, it was very different. You know, lush green forests, sleeping sickness, the good times. Anyway, you have to come with me. Don't mind that screaming, by the way. That is not a torture chamber, that is just outside. Anyway, you must come with me, Namibian child or man. You seem very, very old to be a child. First of all, you're right. Second of all, I am not Namibian. Third of all, where am I? And I'm guessing from the German accent. Please don't be Nazi Germany. Please don't be Nazi Germany. Please don't be Nazi Germany. Why, of course, the great fascist war has been won by the great glorious Erich Honecker and the guy that built the Berlin Wall right now. I forgot his name, but please don't throw me in prison. Anyway, it is time to go. Come with me. Like I said, I'm not Namibian. Of course you are Namibian. Look at you. Unless you're Mozambican. Bonito. El come with me, oh. That's not even anywhere close to Portuguese. But I understand. Yes, I'm like probably the 50th black person in the country right now. I understand it might be difficult for you to wrap your head around, but I'm not Namibian, no Mozambican, probably a bit of Angolan. Like the slave trade was like from there. Anyway, as you can hear from the arguing of me and this DDR soldier, you are in the 1980s, East Germany, and we're talking about the children of Namibia. The children that were, for good purposes, taken away from their families, and for bad, probably taken away from their families for the good of their life, but might have some repercussions in the future. Who are you talking to? Let's just go. Let's vamonos. Let's go. Children of Namibia. The DDR children of Namibia. During the South African border war, SWAPO solicited material assistance from around the globe, which they got in the form of education, health, arms, and funds. Between 1960 and 1980, hundreds of Namibians came to the GDR or the DDR and were offered academic education. In 1978, many wounded SWAPO guerrillas came from Kasinga to the GDR for medical treatment. The GDR offered what was termed solidarity consignment to the South West Africans fighting their liberation war in the border war and in the Angolan Civil War. Sam Nujuma then turned again to the GDR and other socialist countries after the Kasinga massacre, and asked again for their children to be taken out of the SWAPO refugee camps for safety, support, and care. Now, on the 12th of September 1979, Njuma's request was granted by the SEDs, or the ruling Communist Party of the GDR, Central Committee. Jaiskol Berlin, a hunting castle in, Berlin, a village 10 kilometers south of Grastol, which is now today Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, was identified as a safe house for the children. On the 18th of December 1979, the first group of about 80 children arrived in the snowy winter of Berlin. Some were between the ages of 3 and 5. Besides medical and general support, it was agreed that Germany should be the medium for the instruction for these pre-primary and primary school children. Between 1979 and 1989, a total of 430 black children came to the GDR. As I believe there's a white minority in Africa, but so far in the Cold War, that's not like the best thing to that's not don't support that. Due to the inadequate space, the group from 1979 to 1985 were moved into the School of Friendship in Stabfoot. The children were mostly preschool war orphans. Some of them were actually selected from the families of SWAPO's functionaries, reportedly with or without the consultation of their family members. The government of the GDR saw the education of these children as one of the contributions to the international revolution. The first group of children that were in 1979 were nicknamed and were later called the 79ers, spent 11 and a half years in the GDR. They went to school, learned German as their mother tongue, and basically grew up with the German lifestyle. It is like the German Empire, but without the empire. German and Namibian teachers try their best to sustain the Namibian culture with the teaching and the traditional dances. Osamvebo, Osivambo songs, and even traditional cooking. In the GDR, social and tertiary education were the utmost of importance for the children. The education of the SWAPO pioneers aimed to place the most of these youth in either elite leadership positions for the development of the country once Namibia achieved their independence. Now, a few months after the fall of the Berlin Wall in November 1989, Namibia attained its independence in 1990. The events culminated in the repatriation of all the Namibian children and teachers from the GDR, or what is now Germany, back to Namibia. There are a number of theories regarding the unexpected repatriation at the point. An established parent committee requested the return of these children as a symbol of a new Namibian government and to nullify the rumors that the SWAPO children were actually being kidnapped. The repatriation of these children took place from the 26th to the 31st of August 1990, landing in the homeland that was actually somewhat alien to them despite the Osimbi Vambo songs and the delicious Namibian cooking. The consequences of this culture shock taught these youth that they were seen by the Namibian people as Germans. The Namibian German people regarded them as amazingly German, though as black people. It's just like the German Empire, but we found the empire. For the GDR children of Namibia, it meant a conflict between two home countries and two cultures and even two identities, even within a former German colony. Many of them actually return into poverty and struggle instead to be accepted or even get the expected leadership positions that they actually went to the GDR for. Now, like I said, so in the process of the children's homecoming to Namibia, the concept of the ex-GDR children was casually used alongside the term of Oasis of Namibia, as these were sometimes regarded themselves as an oasis. A black person within inside a white culture within inside a black country that was owned by the Germans at one point, I guess. I don't know, it could also mean something in Namibian, like a saying, you know, because there's the desert, the famous desert, not the Gobi Desert, but a big desert in Namibia, I can't remember right now, but the Oasis Club of Windhoek that existed until 2007 was a place where they actually regularly met. Guten Tag, Gosimbe Bungaba Umbao. Guten Tag. Up to today, the concept of GDR children is a meaning that continues to have significance not only in Namibia, but Mozambique, Angola, even Somalia, but for sure GDR children for Namibia, since they were actually a German colony, so there's a lot of to GDR. As some of them went into good schools in Namibia and still had good command of the German language in a country that was still strongly German influenced, whether it be from the old imperial days or the South African Dutch that was basically German at that point, they stand to have a greater career opportunity. Unfortunately, some still experience difficulties in the search for their own sense of home, culture, and identity. Today, most of the ex-GDR children describe themselves as Umuluwe, or the Umuluwe, a word in Osavambio, which is the long big panhandle in Namibia, that means black or black man. Their organization continues to operate under the name Freundeskreis X-GDR, but is currently largely dormant to this day, since 2009. Freundeskreis is Friends of the ex-GDR. I am good at German, yeah. I am good at the German. Deutsches Land, very good at German. So since the end of 2009, a group of Umolowe came under the spotlight through bad behavior, especially in Windhoek. They started collecting money in the form of donations for an apparent historical expedition for German tourists. Such expedition or project was actually never planned or fulfilled to this day. So I guess it is what it is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed that very interesting topic. Not really seen or heard about, but I do love the Cold War and how Africa and the Eastern Bloc were very intertwined in a way. It was still very interesting because there's no good or bad guy in this situation. Yes, the South Africans, yes, the South African Boers, yes, the South African apartheid regime actually restricted Namibia and how to make everybody the bad guy. Alright, so the GDR is the bad guy, obviously, not because of communism, but because they thought they could actually, bro, it's hard, but there is good and bad in this story. But I'm telling you, but nobody is really wholly good or wholly bad. The GDR did good for the Namibians, they did bad. The Namibians did good by sending them away. They did bad by probably not asking them to be sent away. And the South Africans did bad because, well, they caused the crisis in the first place and not let Namibia get independent. And they only... I don't think there's really a good for apartheid South Africa. Damn. I guess South Africa in the apartheid era is not the good guy. Anyway, I hope you learned something. Guten Tag. I'll see you tomorrow. Auf Wiedersehen. Learn something. And remember, if your parents send you off to school and it is not on wartime, be prepared to learn some weird language, like German. Auf Wiedersehen. Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht. Oh boy, that. Gute Nacht, boys. Gute Nacht.
Auf diesen Fahnen der fröhlichen kleinen Leute lernten wir Steffen, Jana, Enrico, Jens und Mike aus dem Kohle- und Energiebezirk Cottbus kennen. Gespannt sind sie auf die kommenden Tage. Die ersten Stunden und Kilometer hafteten wir uns an die Fersen der 5 Spremberger. Außer guter Laune, festen Schuhen für den Friedensmarsch in Richtung Dresden, hatten die Delegierten aus Cottbus eine Menge guter Taten im Gepäck, über die sie auf dem Eröffnungsappell ihren Gastgebern berichteten. Den erfolgreichen Sturm der Festung Königstein feierten die Spremberger gemeinsam mit Weggefährten aus der Sowjetunion und der Volksrepublik Polen.